Greetings, unsettled souls. Views. This is Sam I.V. Gangi doing political commentary for the Media Speaks and welcoming you all aboard. As more and more of you tune in, I do want to remind you that this is listener supported. That means that you can donate to the show at thecorrectviews@hotmail.com. You do that through PayPal. Every penny that I get, every nickel, every hint of money that I get, I put towards a better show. As you can see, I'm in a room, not my studio. I'm in a library, and I don't have a good camera. I would like to fix those things, so if you can help me do so, I would love to. Sure, you'll know when it happens because my camera won't suck anymore. Getting right into the news of the day, this was kind of closing out some of the odds and ends we've had from the holidays. This was the best news, at least in terms of New Year's resolutions. I wrote this for the Conservative Daily Post, as you can see. Most libertarians, I write, and others who truly grasp the Constitution can see that banning substances that are potentially harmful is a pointless exercise in futility. More often than not, such restrictions only lead to black markets, gunfire, and the banned item becoming more popular than ever. Still, I wrote, it is good when those who have in the past helped further the problem by making, for instance, cigarettes more addictive just to sell more coffin nails, step up with an unexpected and helpful New Year's resolution. Philip Morris has done just that and given every smoker a reason to stop and take notice. The USA Today reports that Philip Morris International, excuse me, resolves that we're trying to give up cigarettes. To many, this is like Oldsmobile saying that they are going to give up vehicle manufacturing, but just the same, that is the stated plan. As the Business Insider confirms, the maker of Marlboro, L&M, Parliament, Chesterfield, and others took out full-page ads all over the UK declaring the company's new ambition in 2018 is to build a smoke-free future to eventually stop selling cigarettes. There's a picture of what lung cancer does to you for those of you that may not know. This is different and much more productive than banning smoking, I wrote. For one, anyone who knows the risk and the need for extreme moderation should be free to smoke cigarettes if they choose to. That said, many are addicted thanks to additives that were included in the product many years ago, and this could be quite a help to them. The website of Philip Morris actually lists a new manifesto, the one day or to one day replace them with smoke-free alternatives like e-cigarettes and heated tobacco products. I wrote that some extremists say that items like vapor smoking devices are harmful too, but whining is mostly needless panic. Such talk is hiding the fact that cigarettes are much, much more dangerous. Most of the additives in our food, unless they're organic, is much more toxic than vapor smoking is. Writing about these other smoking options, Philip Morris said we can achieve a significant health benefit only when a large number of these smokers switch from cigarettes to better products. They even admit that no cigarette company has done anything like this before, and you might wonder if we really mean it. The World Health Organization is interested in that answer, and they aim for a smoke-free world, but I wrote that they rely on bans to help achieve this, which is simply not acceptable. The United Nations Health Agency has refused to partner with the Foundation for a Smoke-Free World, in which is funded by Philip Morris International, according to the USA Today. So a lot of ears are waiting to see if the promise, now that it's been made, is going to be kept. There's a look at the cancers that deaths that are attributed to cigarette smoking. The tobacco industry and its front groups have misled the public about the risks associated with tobacco products, said the WTO. They are absolutely right in that assessment too. However, many of the people responsible for that are long dead. And if the company is turning over a new tobacco leaf, they should in no way be halted from the endeavor. The World Health Organization also stretches the truth by saying that such misleading conduct continues today with companies including PMI marketing tobacco products in ways that are misleadingly working to suggest that some tobacco products are less harmful than others. A company must market their product in order to exist, and the threats are more than well known in 2018. Now, this is the most important part of this, and I want you to pay attention to the way I close this out because I stand by every word I'm saying. All of this talk, I wrote, masks the fact that smokers don't wish to hear. and that is that quitting is simply a matter of not buying the cigarettes. The clerk behind the counter won't be giving them out otherwise. Not lighting the cigarette and not bringing the butt to one's mouth is a surefire way to quit. But such statements of common sense are lost on many. As such, vapors are pretty safe, and while some opine that they taste a bit different than their toxic counterparts, the nicotine withdrawal will rob smokers of any excuses about stopping. Philip Morris is just willing to help. And that's important. We do not want to live in a world where everything is banned and everything is policed and everything is restricted from you and people buying cigarettes on the black market. We already saw one individual killed by New York City police officers when they choked him to death because he was selling single cigarettes on the street. That's not what we want to see. But what we do want to see is people being wise enough to take responsibility for their own actions and to also find a cigarette company willing to undo some of the damage that they have willfully done. Guys, that brings us on to the next here from CBS News. Earth's mysterious home recorded underwater for the first time. Now, I've heard about this before, so I'm sorry, CBS, but this is not the first time. But it is interesting. We know that there have been a lot of strange sounds and occurrences and happenings lately, and affecting many different components of the Earth. I don't know what a lot of these mean, but we have been finding them with growing frequency. And I think that this story highlights that very well. In cacophony of cities, towns, and suburbs, there are far quieter soundtracks to be found. The murmurs of wind, rustling grasses, rushing waves, tumbling onto beaches, the creaking of trees, branches, and trunks. But underneath all of that is yet another soundscape. A permanent low-frequency drone produced by the Earth itself, from the vibrations of ongoing subtle seismic movements that are not earthquakes and are too small to be detected without special equipment. You can't hear it, but it's ongoing. And now scientists have measured the persistent hum from the ocean floor for the first time. Most of the movements in the ground under our feet aren't dramatic enough for people to feel them, but earthquakes, of course, are the big exception. But the Earth undergoes more earthquakes globally than you might expect, an estimated 500,000 a year. So a lot of these are what is creating the noises that we are hearing deep. People have said they've heard it in submersibles. Using filters, noise reduction, and calculations, scientists have isolated the hum from normal ocean noise levels generated by ocean wave motion, so maybe that's what it was before, and seafloor currents, and have found very clear peaks that appeared consistently over an 11-month study period. So those who have been reporting this for a very long time been wonderfully vindicated. Guys, we have 2 more to go. Check this out. The world's first smart condom collects intimate data during sex and tells men whether their performance is red hot or a total flop. Now, I've always been under the impression that the woman was the one who told the guy whether or not he was a success or a total flop, but now we have the condom stepping up, I guess, to speak for them. I just reported, friends, I don't make it up. A British company has released the first pictures of a smart condom which collects very intimate data about the sex life of anyone brave enough to wear it. The device is called Icon, which is what it is, a con, and can detect STIs, that's kind of cool, STIs, as well as sending data about sex sessions straight to the wearer's smartphone. British Condom said its revolutionary wearable tech for the bedroom measures the number of calories burned during intercourse, the speed of the man's thrusts, how long he lasts, and even what positions are used. So, what if you happen to use a position that the condom doesn't think is one of the most enjoyable? Then do you somehow lose the perk of it? Do you somehow lose points there? How does that work? The condom firm and its invention would help men see how they stack up to other people around the world. However, it is far clear whether lovers will be happy with the idea of letting a condom spy on their most private moments. Adam Leverson, lead engineer of the Icon Smart Condom, said, "It's here and it's beautiful." I bet it is. We wanted the icon to look refined and non-intrusive and lightweight. The finished article is nothing short of these very things. There's a lot of tech packed into the icon, and for us to be able to deliver it in such a way, there's absolutely no hindrance to the wearer, and I think we've done that above and beyond. I'm just happy that we can now share Icon with the world. John Simmons is the spokesman for British Condoms. He added, "We're extremely excited to share with the world the first glimpse of the icon." They're excited about making a lot of money to try and bring gadgets into the bedroom. And ladies, if I'm not mistaken, not only do you normally rate a man's performance, but you are normally the ones with the gadget, are you not? All right, guys, that brings us to the dumbdee of the day. As we do the dumbdee of the day, friends, I'm going to remind you that the Dunce Cap of the Month show will be coming. The Dunce Cap of the Month, of course, we find the dumbest stories, put them on one show, and send out the Dunce Caps. There's two that need to go out yet, so I'm going to have to wait to send out the one for this month coming up. But I had to get to this. I covered this with the Conservative Daily Post too, but I'm just going to go with the want to cover mine, because sometimes, you know what, a story is, and I see people tuning in, whatever you do, don't tune out now, whatever you do. The dumbest people who have ever lived probably found in rap music videos. I swear to God. And after I give you this next story, friends, I promise you that I'm pretty sure you're going to agree with me on that assessment. Are you all ready? I certainly hope so. Rapper makes a song promoting the very crime that put him behind bars. Conservative Daily Post, this puppy is written by yours truly. Most libertarians and those who have studied the Constitution have found that the government has very little legal right to conduct the war on drugs as they have. But until this is addressed, the laws are what they are. This means that it is best not to sell drugs if you are trying to remain free. If a person does decide to engage in this practice, however, it may be wise to not write songs advertising what it is that one is doing. Yahoo News reports that 30-year-old Michael Prasad all but invited the police to his side to arrest him by writing songs like "Sell Drugs" and other such ditties, D-R-U-G-S-Z. His choice of song titles helped lead to his recent 3-year prison sentence for doing just that, selling illegal drugs. It seems that in many cases, those that dive into certain rap cultures begin to feel immune from the law. Many flash guns, gang signs, and other actions which make it all but impossible for law enforcement not to act. And come on, how many of us have known this to be the case? I'm actually against the war on drugs. I think each person needs to decide such things for themselves. I understand why they shut down meth labs, because if they blow up, they can affect other people. But by and large, if you're going to use a drug, I don't really care. Care less, as long as you're not harming me or anybody else. However, there's a thin line between believing that you're G and living like an idiot. And that's what this person did here. There's Montana Mills, that's his stage name, and likely wishing he had not advertised or flaunted what he did for a living. Montana Mills was lucky to get only 3 years, considering that he was dealing deadly heroin and fentanyl. Prasad's lawyer, Matthew Smith, calls the outcome fair and just. That would be because his client faced a 6-year prison sentence for his crimes. It is hard to say if any of the drugs that he peddled cost anyone their lives or not, but an East Providence undercover detective purchased nearly 3/4 of an ounce, that's 22 grams, of fentanyl and a small amount of heroin from the rapper over a 4-month period began in October of 2016. On top of that, authorities seized 1.5 ounces, 44 grams of fentanyl from his home. The entertainer's woes are far from over, however. He faces additional problems for selling drugs in Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. There, a jury convicted him of drug charges. It seems that Montana Mills may have a much better chance for succeeding in the music world if he could stay out of prison. For that to happen, he may wish to consult others before naming his next single. Who hears me on that? Friends, you're listening to The Correct Views. Don't like my camera? Don't like my audio? Great, neither do I. Please donate. You can do so at thecorrectviews@hotmail.com through PayPal, and I'll put it towards giving you a better show like I used to have before. So please do. Good night, friends. God bless. Dunce Cap of the Month.